The custom crews are leaving John Deere. Nobody in the boardroom noticed. 10 years ago, that convoy was green from the first truck to the last. Ask a crew boss what changed. He will tell you it was one thing, and it was not the price. The wheat run. Liberal to Dodge City to Colby, Texas Panhandle to the Canadian line. A line of combines and grain carts and semis rolling north chasing ripe wheat. These are the custom crews. They cut for hire. They get paid by the acre. A Kansas farmer with 2,000 acres of hard red winter wheat does not own a machine that costs as much as his house and sits idle 11 months a year. He hires the convoy when his wheat is ready. It rolls on to the next county before the heads shatter. These are not hobby operators. These are the most sophisticated equipment buyers on the continent. Outfits that put more hours on a machine in 4 months than a farmer puts on in 5 years. And they live and die on one number. Not the price of the machine, acres per day. The wheat will not wait. A ripe field in a hot, dry wind can start dropping grain on the ground inside 72 hours. The crew that cuts the most acres keeps the contract next year. The crew whose combine sits down in the shop loses it. Nobody in farming feels a broken machine faster than a man paid by the acre with 1,000 miles still left to cut. 16-hour days. Headlights out in the field at midnight. One eye always on a storm that could flatten the crop. In that world, a machine that stops is not an inconvenience. It is the difference between making the season and losing it. So when the green starts thinning out of that convoy, the first thing everybody reaches for is the price. John Deere iron got brutally expensive. The whole country knows it. But the price does not explain the custom crew. A road outfit running 3 or 4 combines flat out all summer is not buying on the sticker. It is buying on what the machine earns and what it costs to keep running across a season that never lets up. These crews will gladly pay more up front for iron that keeps cutting when the wind turns. Price is the answer for the 40-acre man. It is not the answer for the convoy. Rule out the next easy answer too. It is not that John Deere forgot how to build a combine. The X9 is one of the highest capacity combines Deere has ever put in a field. On a good day in good wheat, it moves an astonishing amount of grain. The crews will tell you that themselves. So whatever is pulling them away, it is not that the green machine cannot cut. That throws out the 2 explanations everybody starts with. Not the price, not the raw capacity. That leaves the one thing the crew boss was pointing at. The one that sits somewhere most people never think to look. This is Farm Gear Pro. Today, we are following the wheat run north and finding out what the most demanding harvesters in America decided, and why nobody in the boardroom was listening when they decided it. Stay with this, because the company they switched to is not what most people assume. Walk up to a crew boss at a truck stop outside Dodge City and ask him straight. He gets careful, because the answer sounds like disloyalty, and these are loyal men. He talks around it. He tells you the new machines are marvels, which is true. The dealer is good people, which is usually true. And then he says the thing he actually means. That the machine has gotten complicated in a direction that has nothing to do with cutting wheat. And that when it stops out here, 1,000 miles from home, it stops in a way he cannot argue with and cannot always fix himself. He will not name what he is switching to. That part you have to go find. And once you start looking, the pattern is everywhere on the run and nowhere in a press release. The big western Kansas outfits quietly running a different color of combine than they ran a decade ago. The equipment lots surround Garden City and Great Bend, carrying machines that were not there before. The harvest videos the crews film and post themselves, 10 and 12 combines wide. If you actually watch the color in the field, the green is not the majority the way it used to be. Nobody announced any of it. The most demanding harvesters in North America simply started voting with the one thing they cannot afford to get wrong. And the vote is going the other way. Before we keep going, if this is giving you the real story behind the wheat run nobody in Moline is discussing, hit subscribe right now. No manufacturer money, no dealer relationships, just what the crews are actually doing. Back to it. Follow the money to the top of the company, because a shift this big shows up in the numbers eventually. And it just did. This spring, John Deere reported that its biggest division, the one that builds the combines and the big tractors, saw sales fall about 14% in a single quarter against the year before. Operating profit in that same division did not fall 14%. It fell close to 40%. The most profitable engine in the entire company cut nearly in half in 90 days. A company can lose a quarter and be fine. Deere is an American giant that will still be selling machines long after all of us are gone. But a number like that is a symptom. And the crews on the wheat run were the fever chart nobody in the boardroom was reading. Because that division is not bleeding since Deere forgot how to build iron. It is bleeding because the company spent the last 15 years aiming itself at a different business than harvesting. The pitch to Wall Street slowly stopped being combines and started being subscriptions, precision farming, data, software you log into by the season. The recurring kind of money that makes an investor lean forward. Deere has sold more than 20,000 of those precision packages. On a spreadsheet in Moline, it all looks like the future. But think about what a breakdown means for a crew 1,000 miles from home. A farmer who breaks down calls the dealer he has known for 30 years. The one 20 minutes down the road. A custom crew breaks down in a county it has never worked, on a machine whose nearest specialist might be 3 states away. On the one weekend, the whole region is cutting at once, and every service truck is already spoken for. For an outfit like that, a machine that can keep running with its own hands is not a luxury. It is the whole ball game. Because a custom crew does not harvest data. It harvests wheat on a deadline in the dust, and it needs a machine built around one obsession, to keep the header moving and never stop. When a company falls in love with the recurring revenue on the screen is what gets the best engineering attention. More that can go wrong between the grain and the ground. More that routes through software the operator does not control and cannot reset at 2 a.m. in a field outside haze. The green machine did not get worse at cutting. It got busy being something other than a cutting machine, and the men whose whole living is the cut were the first to feel the company look somewhere else. That is the quiet betrayal underneath the whole thing. These crews were the best free advertising John Deere ever had, 10 combines running green down a Kansas highway. Filmed and posted and watched by every wheat farmer in the country. 3 generations of the most respected operators alive, staking their season on that color. You could not buy proof like that. And the company, chasing a subscription number in a boardroom, let it walk off. None of it came from a decision anybody actually signed. It leaked away in 1,000 small choices that all pointed the machine away from the field and toward the screen. If you have spent any time around people who use tools to make a living, you already know how this story ends, because it has happened in every trade there is. The professional always switches first, not the hobbyist, not the weekend guy, the person whose paycheck depends on the tool never letting him down. He feels a decline years before it ever shows up on a sales chart, because he is the one holding the thing at the exact moment it fails. Walk on to any serious job site in America and look at what is in the good tradesman's truck. 20 years ago, the electricians and the plumbers and the framers all ran the same yellow drills as everybody else. Walk that same site today and the boxes are red. Milwaukee. A brand that got obsessive about the person who runs a drill 400 times a day, built the tool heavier and tougher and exactly for the trade, and quietly took the professional right out from under the giant that used to own him. The homeowner was the last to notice. The pro switched first, because the pro pays for downtime in cash. That is exactly what is happening on the wheat run. One custom crew at a time. The heaviest users of a combine anywhere on the continent are doing what heavy professional users always do. They are leaving quietly ahead of everyone for the machine built by the company that never once stopped being obsessed with the cut. And when the professionals leave first, the rest of the market is usually 3 or 4 years behind them and does not know it yet. There is a tell that backs this up. The one number in this whole business nobody can spin. What the used machines bring. When farmers truly want a machine, the good used ones climb at auction because everybody wants in and nobody is selling. The clean low-hour green combines coming off the big crews are not doing that, and the outfits letting them go are not buying more green. Men do not walk away from the tool they still believe in. They walk when they have already decided where they are going next. Here is the company the wheat run has been choosing. The one kept out of this the whole way through because The name is the least interesting thing about it. CLAAS, an independent family company out of Germany founded in 1913. More than 100 years later, still owned and run by the same family. Not a division of anybody. Not answerable to a quarterly call in Moline. CLAAS never spread itself across 40 other businesses. It built harvesting machines. That is the whole company. For more than a century, while nearly everyone else was busy becoming a conglomerate, this one family kept its obsession aimed at a single question: how to get a crop out of a field faster and cleaner than anyone alive. The machine the crews are switching to is the Lexion, and here is the part that ought to end the argument about it being foreign. The Lexion the American crews run has been built in Omaha, Nebraska for the better part of 30 years, by American workers, in the middle of the same wheat country it cuts, and the company just broke ground on a new research and development center right there in Nebraska. Because you do not build a research center in a country you are planning to leave. The people who call this a foreign brand stealing the harvest have never once checked where it is actually bolted together. Right there in the middle of the country. A single day's drive from the run itself. And that is the one thing the crew boss would not name at the truck stop. It was never the price. It was never the horsepower. It was that somewhere out there a family company had spent 100 years staying obsessed with the exact thing his whole life is built on. Keeping the header in the crop and never ever stopping. While the company he grew up loyal to slowly turned its best attention somewhere else. He did not switch because he stopped being a John Deere man. He switched because the machine that was still completely entirely about the harvest was not the green one anymore. And a man who is paid by the acre cannot afford to be sentimental about that. He follows the cut. CLAAS is not renting counter space and hoping anymore. It is planting its own stores. Company-owned, full service, dropping them straight into the grain belt in towns across Iowa and the Dakotas, right where the harvest lives. The crews asked for the machine first. The stores are following the crews. That is the order it always runs in. So the next time you are out on a Kansas highway in July and that convoy comes over the rise, look hard at the colors. You are not imagining it. And you were never crazy for noticing. The green is thinning because the people who cut for a living felt the company's attention drift. And they did the coldest, most rational thing a professional ever does. They followed the machine that still cared about the only thing they do. You saw it before the sales charts did. The wheat run has always been the truest signal in American farming. Right now it is pointing away from green. Drop a comment below. Have you seen the colors change on the wheat run in your county? Or are you one of the crew bosses who already made the switch and never talked about it publicly? That answer from operators in this comment section is worth more than anything a company reads off a slide in Moline. Thanks for watching Farm Gear Pro. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with a fellow farmer and comment below your thoughts on this topic. See you in the next one.